I'm not, listen, again, I'm not a political person. I'm a person who lives in reality. I'm a journalist. The Republican Party is obsolete. We cannot sit here and pretend like, well, Republicans, cut them a break. We want to hear whatever. They have a lot to answer for. Right now, our democracy is in danger, and it's because of one party, and that's the Republican Party. They are the party of everything that they're trying to pretend that they're not. The people who are in Charlottesville, that's not us. Yes, it is you. What are they essentially saying? That they don't trust people who don't look like them? We have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, and we have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them. There is no white guy ban. So what do we do about
the colossal collapse of CNN continues. Just when you thought the ratings couldn't possibly get worse, their numbers have fallen even further, prompting many to ask, how long can this continue? We're going to look at their latest ratings disaster, why it's inevitably going to fall even further, and make sure to stick with me at the very end of this video when we'll find out how a civil war on the left guarantees not just the demise of CNN, but the left as a whole as well. You are not going to want to miss this. The latest batch of TV ratings for cable and network news have come out, and let's just say for the fledgling enterprise known as CNN, the news simply couldn't be worse. As we speak, CNN has just suffered its worst ratings week in 9 years. The most distrusted name in fake news averages 444,000 viewers in prime time, 417,000 viewers in daytime. The ratings disaster was spread relatively evenly across the board. Our favorite Don Lemon continues his downward spiral. He, of course, was demoted to the fledgling morning show, which has been doing even worse since he came aboard. And Chris Wallace, the failure of Fox News, has continued in that failure over at CNN, raking in their worst ratings he's ever had, barely scraping 40,000 viewers in the coveted 25 to 54-year-old demographic. It's a disaster. I mean, there's just no way of putting it. This is an absolute abject disaster. CNN began the year with a loss of 90% of their audience in the course of the year, and many said it really just doesn't get a whole lot worse than that. Well, it turned out they were wrong. The month of January continued the ratings slaughter for this once reputable news organization. Now, many thought that the new CEO, Chris Licht, was going to be able to save CNN. He was quite vocal on how CNN needed to be rescued from its obvious left-wing liberal dissent, its radically anti-Trump bias over the last several years. And yet Licht has been the one who personally chose the hosts of the various lineups, daytime and evening. And these hosts continue to be insufferably left-wing and liberal, virulently anti-Trump, anti-MAGA. So if he thought he was going to be building any bridges with the Fox News viewer or more center-right viewers, he was sorely mistaken. So Licht is not going to be rescuing CNN. It appears very clear at this point. And that's, of course, because he's effectively doing nothing to restore trust in the network. The thing with news organizations is that trust and reliability are foundational to their business model, right? If a news organization is no longer considered to be a reliable mediator of information, why would anyone avail themselves of it? The more CNN demonstrates itself to be nothing more than left-wing propaganda, the more it surrenders its claim to objectivity and therefore its reliability as a mediator of accurate information. But something else appears to be contributing to the CNN collapse, and this is something that I don't think anyone at CNN or in the legacy media ever thought possible. It looks like we're seeing a very real split within the political left, a rift that ultimately promises to destroy leftism as a whole in our nation. You're going to absolutely love it. But first, I've got a big announcement that's coming to you this Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's right. I'm sending out a special email to my email list only, okay? But I'll give you a hint. If you're a fan of the TV show The Chosen, you're going to absolutely love this announcement. But to find out, you got to be on my email list. And all you have to do is click on that link below to sign up. And that way we'll never lose touch with each other, no matter what happens with big tech or anything like that. But again, you have until Friday noon Eastern, so don't wait. Click on that link below right now because you will not hear this news otherwise. This is news that's really important for our movement, so you've got to make sure you sign up for my email list. So click on that link below right now and subscribe. If you can believe it, one of the things that CNN is trying to do to boost their sagging ratings is bring on Bill Maher's show, at least a portion of his show, onto their platform. CNN has announced that they're going to be hosting Bill Maher's Overtime, which is his post-show YouTube segment. It's obviously being seen as a very desperate move on CNN's part. They can't even come up with their own original programming at this point. That's how utterly low they've fallen. But what was so fascinating to me was the number of responses from far-left activists towards this programming move. Writers for the ultra-left New Republic tweeted out, "If someone peddles conspiracy or dehumanizes or gives permission for others to dehumanize groups of people, there's no need to pay them to lead your network's expansion." MSNBC's Mehdi Hassan tweeted, "Bill Maher is obsessed with this idea that cancel culture is out of control. Yet Maher himself just got a new CNN gig, despite saying outrageous things about Muslims, Arabs, and trans people, making crass jokes about Asians, and using the N-word on TV." And the Young Turks host Cenk Uygur tweeted out, "Bill Maher is actually perfect for CNN, to be honest. False equivalencies, propping up right-wing culture war talking points, fighting for the status quo, and that smug face. Tapper might get jealous because he might be out-smug." What's going on there is actually very interesting. The left, as you can see, is beginning to unravel. It's breaking up into opposing factions made up of the old left, the neoliberal Joe Biden, Bill Maher left, and the new left, the radically cultural Marxist post-American woke left, that basically sees the old left as indistinguishable from, as Cenk put it, the right wing. You might say that the new left is so radical that they've lost any nuance or perspective to discerning distinctions between Bill Maher and Steve Bannon, of which, of course, there are many. But this was inevitable, and that's because the new left operates with what are called totalizing categories. And totalizing categories don't allow for any possible legitimate dissent from their orthodoxies. You're either for identity politics or you're a racist. You're either for their version of women's rights or you're sexist. You're either for LGBT rights or you're a phobic. There's no possible basis for dissent. And so when you dissent, like Bill Maher and Piers Morgan and Jordan Peterson have, you are automatically lumped in with all other heretics, most especially those of us on the right. This is the inevitable consequence of going woke. You end up excommunicating more and more people so that at the end of the day, there are 4 times the amount of people excommunicated than belong to you, the elect few. And unfortunately for CNN and other leftist legacy media outlets, they're caught in the crossfire between these warring factions. MSNBC has clearly moved in the direction of the far left. And it looks like CNN made the decision to try to stay within the demographics of the older neoliberal rank and file. Either way, the left is splitting apart, which means that CNN and the legacy media are beginning to unravel as well, meaning that the future for the left is already beginning to disintegrate right before our very eyes. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on how the recall of Katie Hobbs has officially begun. You're not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.